Hello everyone and welcome to Bell Explains. In this video, I will be explaining 1.5 rational numbers. Let's get to it. Evaluate each of the following. So here we have negative 0.6 plus 3 over 4 times negative 3 over 1, 3 over 5. Okay, so here since we have a decimal number, decimal numbers, when we move to the right, it will become 6 over 10. For example, if we move 2 decimal places, it will give us 6 over 100. So here we have negative 0.6. If we move it 1 decimal place, it will give us negative 6 over 10 plus 3 over 4. And changing this to an improper fraction gives us 8 over 5. Okay, so here let's do multiplication first. That will give us negative 6 over 10. And since here's the negative, we have positive and negative, that gives us a negative 24 over 20. Now let's remove the brackets. Positive and negative gives us a negative sign. So here we have negative 6 over 10 minus 24 over 20. So here we will times it by 2 to make sure the denominators are the same. And that will give us negative 12 over 20 minus 24 over 20. And this will give us negative 36 over 20, which will give us negative 1, 4 over 5. So this is the final answer. Next, for B, we have negative 17 over 20 plus 0.8 divide by 1 over 2 minus 1.3. So here let's convert this first. Here we have 0.8 will become 8 over 10 as we move 1 decimal place to the right, and 1.3 will become 13 over 10. Okay, so here we have negative 17 over 20. We'll just rewrite this to 8 over 10 divide by 1 over 2 minus 13 over 10. And according to the BODMAS rule, we'll have to do the operations within the brackets first. So here we will times by 2, here by 2, and that will give us negative 17 over 20 plus 16 over 20 divided by 5 over 10 minus 13 over 10, because here we'll times by 5 and 5. Okay, next let's do the operations within the bracket. That will give us negative 1 over 20 divided by negative 8 over 10. So in order to change this division into a multiplication, we'll just have to flip the numbers over. So here we'll have negative 1 over 20 times negative 10 over 8. Okay, and here we'll have negative and negative gives us a positive, so we don't have to write that sign down. Numerator multiplication gives us 10. 20 over 8 gives us 160. And here we can simplify this by removing the 0, since it is both in the multiplication of 10, and that will give us 1 over 16. Next, we have 1.125 plus 1, 2 over 3 minus 2, 5 over 6 times negative 8 over 27. So here we'll have 1, 2, 3 decimal places to the right. That will give us 1125 over 1000 plus 5 over 3 minus 17 over 6 times negative 8 over 27. So here let's do multiplication first. we'll have 1125 over 1000 plus 5 over 3 minus 17, minus, okay, so here we have positive and negative. That will give us a negative number. 17 times 8 will give us 136 over 162. Okay, so here let's just write that back down. 125 over 1000 plus 5 over 3. We have a negative here and a negative here, so that will give us positive 136 over 162. So put this in your calculator and let's see what we get. Okay, so that is complete. Moving on, and that will give us negative 325 over 100 divided by, divide can change into multiplication, so let's change that into multiplication. 15 over 13 minus negative 13 over 6 times 25 over 100. Okay, so here we have to do the multiplication first, so that we have negative and positive. That will give us a negative 4875 over 1300 minus negative 325 over 600. And this will give us negative 4875 over 1300. Negative gives us positive 325 over 500. Put this in your calculator and we'll get negative 77 over 24. Simplified it will give us 5 over 24. Next, let's take a look at self-practice 1.5c. A company donates to charity every year as its contribution to society. If the company makes a profit in that year, 2 over 9 of the profit will be allocated for donation. If the company incurs a loss, the company will also allocate 0.05 of the loss for donation. If the company makes a profit of Rm 43.2 million in a certain year and incurs a loss of Rm 2.5 million and 6.5 million respectively in 2 consecutive years, calculate the total donations the company would have allocated for charity in those 3 years. So here we have if profit 2.2 over 9 of the total profit amount. So here we have 2 over 9 of the total profit amount, and calculating this will give us 9.6 million. So if the company suffers a loss, 0.05 of the loss amount will be donated to charity. So here we have 2.5 times 0.05 and 6.5 million times 0.05. So here we have 0.125 million, and here we have 0.325 million. So altogether for loss will be 0.45 million. So in order to calculate the total donations the company allocated in those 3 years, here we have 1 year, the second year, and the third year. So altogether we'll have 9.6 million plus with 0.45 million. That will give us 10.05 million. Next, a roll of ribbon is used to tie 12 gifts, which will be given to teachers on Teachers' Day. Every gift requires a length of 1.85 meters. After tying all the gifts, it was found that 2 over 3 of the ribbon had been used. The remaining ribbon was cut into 12 pieces of the same length. Calculate the length of each piece of ribbon that had been cut. Okay, so since 1.85 is for one gift, here we have 1.85 times 12 gifts. So for 12 gifts, we have 22.2 meters that was used. Okay, so if 22.2 is only 2 over 3, let's calculate 2 over 3 of the roll equals to 22.2. In order to calculate the roll amount, we'll have to move this 2 over 3 to the other side. Moving it to the other side, we'll flip it over. So that will give us times 3 over 2. So the roll is 33.3 meters long. So this is the total length of the roll minus the amount that was used. Here we have 11.1 meters. And this length was divided into 12 equal pieces. So here we have per piece 11.1 divided by 12, and that gives us 0.925 meters. Next we have Mastery Q 1.5. Evaluate each of the following. So here we have 2.5, which will give us 25 over 10 plus negative 8 divided by 6 over 5 times 35 over 10. So first let's do the division. We have 25 over 10 plus negative 8 divided by 6 over 5. That gives us 20 over 3 times 35 over 10. So here we have 25 over 10 plus negative 70 over 3. And this gives us, positive and negative gives us a negative. So 25 over 10 minus 70 over 3, which gives us negative 25 over 6. Next we have 1 over 4 plus 32 over 10 times 2 minus 54 over 10 minus 2 over 3 divided by 4 over 100. Okay, so here let's do multiplication first. Within the bracket, we have 32 over 10 times 2, which gives us 32 over 5 minus 54 over 10. 2 over 3 divided by 4 over 100 gives us negative 50 over 3. Let's solve the operations within the bracket individually first. And that will give us 133 over 20 minus negative 169 over 15. Here we have 215 over 12, which will give us 1711 over 12. So this is the final answer. For each of the following, complete it using a suitable rational number. Okay, so here we have 68 over 10 divided by 2 over 5 minus 462 over 100 equals to x, big X here, times 0.01. So let's solve what we have on the left first. 68 over 10. Let's flip this over so that we can change this into a multiplication. Minus 462 over 100 equals to 0.01x. Okay, so here we have 340 over 20 minus 462 over 100, 0.01x. So on the left, after solving this in the calculator, you'll get 12.38 equals to 0.01x. So in order to get the x, we have to move this number to the other side. So here we have 12.38 over 0.01. So here we have x at 1238. Next, we have B. We don't always have to change the numbers to fractions. We can also just solve them in decimal places. So here, let's try that. 3.76 plus 3 over 4 will become 0.75 in decimals times negative 4.5 equals to x times 0.5. So here we can solve this first. We have multiplication over here. Let's do that. We have 3.76. Positive negative gives us negative. So plus negative 3.375 equals to 0.5x. Solving the left-hand side gives us 0.385 because positive and negative. So we will take 3.76 minus 3.375. So we'll get this on the left-hand side equals to 0.5x. In order to get x, we'll have to move 0.5 to the other side, which will become a divide. So here we'll have 0.385 divided by 0.5. And that will give us 0.77. And lastly, we have Ishak, Jiakang, and Suresh went mountain climbing together. At a certain instance, Ishak was at 1.5 meters higher than Jiakang. Okay, so let's draw that out first. Here we have Ishak at 1.45 meters higher than Jiakang, while Suresh was at 1/3 meters lower than Jiakang. So here we have Suresh at 2.33 meters. Okay. Ishak, Jiakang, and Suresh had climbed 1.25 meters, 0.5 and 33/4 meters respectively. So we have Ishak plus 1.25, Jiakang plus 0.5, Suresh plus 3.75. Find the positions of Jiakang and Suresh now with reference to the position of Ishak. Okay, so Ishak climbed 1.25. So that means 1.45. This is for Ishak. 1.45 plus 1.25. That will give us 2.7 meters. Okay, so Ishak is here. So let's draw the new number line. Ishak new is at 2.7 meters. So Jiakang adds 0.5. So Jiakang adds 0.5 meters. So now for Suresh, in between Jiakang and Suresh, there's 2.33 meters. So, however, Suresh climbs 3.75 meters. That means he will exceed the position of Jiakang. This means Suresh 3.75 minus 2.33, and this will give us 1.42 meters. So means Suresh was initially behind Jiakang. He has climbed until here. So now Suresh's new position is here at 1.42. Find the position of Jiakang and Suresh now with reference to the position of Ishak. So from Ishak, let's see the distance to Suresh and Jiakang. So Ishak to Suresh, we have 2.7 meters minus 1.42. That gives us 1.28 meters. And Ishak to Jiakang is 2.7 meters minus 0.5 meters, and that gives us 2.2 meters altogether. And that's all for 1.5. See you guys next at Let's Practice Chapter 1.